So perhaps you are talking to or dating a dismissive avoidant, or maybe you are a dismissive avoidant. In this video, I will be discussing 3 major core wounds of someone with a dismissive avoidant attachment style and examples of what can trigger these wounds to give you greater insight into your partner if you are a partner of a dismissive avoidant, or greater insight into your own patterns if you are a dismissive avoidant. Real quick, if you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Sarah Whaling, and I'm a certified life, trauma, and relationship coach, and I help people heal insecure attachment styles of all types and become securely attached, targeting where trauma is stored in our subconscious and unconscious mind. I tailor personalized plans for my clients to heal insecure attachment styles, healing from childhood trauma, heal wounds from relationships early in life or later in life with individuals with personality disorders that were damaging, and heal everyday pain points. If that is of interest to you, please fill out a contact form on my website with a detailed description of what you are interested in working on, and you will receive a follow-up email which will include my session information. Now let's get back to today's topic. So real quick, before we jump into 3 major core wounds of the dismissive avoidant, let's cover what a core wound is. A core wound is essentially a deep-rooted, limiting belief that we come to really identify with and experience life through the filter of. First off, you can think of beliefs as basically our deepest neural wirings. These are our deep-rooted programs that run our lives. Our thoughts about ourselves and our lives spring up from the beliefs we have, which in turn we respond to emotionally and then take actions accordingly. As a quick example, if someone has the core wound, I am defective, then they might have self-conscious thoughts in different circumstances all day long about how XYZ about themselves makes them defective. And then, of course, someone is not going to have thoughts like that and feel good. So each time this core wound is triggered, what happens? It affects their neurochemistry. Obviously, depression can be multifactorial, but you can see how just simply having a severe core wound being triggered throughout someone's day can actually be a cause of depression, and how healing that, if that is in fact the cause for them, can heal their depression. So when we are emotionally responding to a core wound, our actions follow. Someone with the I am defective core wound might shy away from being vulnerable or meeting people or really living up to their full potential when they are feeling that shame from that particular core wound. So all of the insecure attachment styles have different sets of common core wounds, which makes sense as you can see common outputs of having certain types of attachment styles, such as hyper-independence with more avoidant attachment styles. Common core wound number 1 for dismissive avoidance that we are going to talk about today is the I am trapped core wound. Side note, this is also a really big one for fearful avoidance as well. This core wound can be triggered in a variety of situations, but to break it down into 2 categories, it will really be triggered when there is a feeling of pressure or when there is a feeling of lack. When there is a feeling of pressure instead of ease, it will make someone with this core wound feel backed into a corner and like their choice and autonomy in the situation is being taken away. Examples of situations in which this can be triggered is if they feel pressured to commit to something before they are ready or sure of it. And in the second scenario, the feeling of lack, the first thing that I want to say is that dismissive avoidants are often living from the viewpoint of lack when it comes to their resources and when it comes to relating to others. When it comes to relating to others, they often have the viewpoint that relationships will just take because they are not accustomed to actually sharing their needs in relationships and giving the other person the opportunity to meet any of those needs. They feel like they have a lack of resources as it is, so when anything or anyone is taking of their resources, for instance, their time, that is really going to trigger the I am trapped core wound, because giving of that resource anywhere when they feel like they don't have enough of it is going to be a really trapping feeling. Common core wound number 2 of the dismissive avoidant that we are going to talk about today is the I am defective or something is wrong with me core wound. This is commonly referred to as the shame wound. This wound really comes online for dismissive avoidants when they are in situations in which they are faced with being vulnerable. The first reason for this is because of the way that this core wound is ingrained in the dismissive avoidant to begin with. The dismissive avoidant attachment style is formed in the first place because they grew up with some form of emotional neglect. Either they got punished for having emotions, they were actively shamed for having emotions, for instance, told not to cry often as a child, or they simply had a parent that was just not emotionally available. Children are egocentric, so when the caregiver is not attuning to them, they automatically conclude that there is something wrong with me for having these emotions. And anytime I am vulnerable with another human being, it is painful and shaming. Common core wound number 3 of the dismissive avoidant that we are going to cover today is the I am misunderstood core wound. This one is interesting because having a core wound projects that perception out onto a variety of situations in life, and you will deeply feel that way because of your perceptual filter. But dismissive avoidants often are misunderstood for some pivotal reasons. The first reason is that people with other attachment styles struggle to understand the true needs of a dismissive avoidant and not assign some kind of painful meaning to it instead. For instance, someone with a more anxious attachment style who is dating a dismissive avoidant might not understand that a certain amount of alone time to recharge is a true need for a dismissive avoidant and doesn't have anything to do with the dismissive avoidant not being interested or invested in the relationship with that person. But another major reason that dismissive avoidants are often truly misunderstood is because of their unwillingness to be vulnerable. If you are not sharing what your needs are, or your reasons for something, or how something makes you feel, then other people are going to fill in the blanks with the perception of their own filters. Well, thank you so much for being here. If this was interesting or helpful to you, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't, please subscribe and stick around. Hit that bell to get notifications so you don't miss a future video. Thank you again so much for being here. Take care.